What fascinates me most about Game of Thrones is how beautifully it combines reality, myth and magic. From Targaryen dragons forging a dynasty to the Red Priest successfully raising the dead, or even the mystic White Walkers who have been kept beyond a giant wall for millennia. A wall so great that it spans 300 miles long and 700 feet high. A wall that is said to have magic woven into its very foundations in order to keep out the would-be intruders. For me, the wall is one of the most interesting structures within Game of Thrones, and in today's video, I'm going to take you through its entire history, from why and how it was built, right up to the architecture's decline in present-day Westeros. Welcome to Game of Thronelore. This is the history of the Wall Explained. The wall was built roughly around 8,000 years ago prior to present-day Westeros, after the end of the Long Night, a period of darkness, famine and winter that lasted for a considerably lengthy amount of time. The wall was built to defend the realms of the First Men and was guarded by the Night's Watch, a dedicated military order sworn to uphold and protect the fortification of the wall. The Watch have reportedly defended the wall against the others and various creatures or beings since its very construction. According to legend, the wall was built by Brandon the Builder with the assistance of the Children of the Forest and giants, and it is protected with ancient spells and sorcery. Supposedly, Brandon placed foundations along heights wherever possible. The wall is apparently vulnerable to the mythical Horn of Joramun, also known as the Horn of Winter, which, if blown, is said to have the ability to bring the entire structure down. The wall today stretches for 300 miles and is approximately 700 feet tall. However, it was simply a mere fraction of this during its construction and completion. It had additional sections added to it multiple of times during the millennia before it appeared how it does currently. It is made of solid ice, stone and earth, and can be seen for miles around. It appears grey or blue, depending on the weather and time of day. The top of the wall is wide enough for a dozen mounted knights to ride abreast, and it is thicker at the base, and crushed stone is spread on walkways to aid with footing. According to myth, there are old spells woven into the wall to strengthen it and keep creatures of a magical nature such as the Others and the dead from passing it. The wall is completely straight from Castle Black to Eastwatch by the Sea, but it curves and swerves multiple times between Castle Black and the Shadow Tower. The wall often appears as pale grey or dull white. It shines blue and crystalline in sunlight, glimmers palely in the moonlight, and glows pink and purple at dawn. It also sparkles from the melting ice on sunny days with rivulets of water. Tunnels have been cut through the wall at each castle of the Night's Watch. They are sealed with ice and stone wherever castles have been abandoned or in times of danger. Cells chiseled from the ice at the foot of the wall are used as storerooms or prisons. Maesters dispute if the base of the wall was actually made of stone, but they generally believe builders of the Watch used sledges to transport ice cut from frozen lakes in the haunted forest. However, the severely reduced Night's Watch at present time is limited to maintenance duty. Some kings beyond the wall have led hosts of free folk south, but have all been broken at the wall by the Night's Watch, or, if they manage to evade the Watch and pass south, by House Stark of Winterfell. When King Jaehaerys Targaryen I visited Winterfell, Queen Alysanne Targaryen flew on Silverwing to visit the wall. However, her dragon's refusal to cross the wall puzzled and disturbed the Queen. The builders of the Night's Watch permit the forest to come no closer than half a mile to the wall. However, over time, forest has crept back closer to abandoned castles. Rangers patrol the lands beyond the wall, and the top of the wall is studded with catapults, cranes and trebuchets, but they are all immobile. Additionally, some catapults and trebuchets have been dismantled for repair and never reassembled after being frozen in ice. The Night's Watch can reach the top of the wall from the southern side via ramps of earth and gravel, wind-strong cages, and steps of ice, stone or wood. The twisting tunnel through the wall at Castle Black is secured by a thick oaken door and 3 grates with heavy iron bars, massive chains that must be unlocked, and murder holes, while the gate at the Nightfort had an iron portcullis. All tunnels have been sealed except for those at Castle Black, Eastwatch by the Sea, and the Shadow Tower. The galleys of Eastwatch patrol the Bay of Seals in part to catch smugglers who bypass the wall through the sea and trade weapons to wildlings. In the west, the southern Frostfangs and the Gorge make the terrain impassable for all but small groups of raiders. The wall provides a tremendous tactical advantage to its defenders, enabling a small group to hold off a much larger force. Defenders are generally beyond the range of bowshot or catapult, and in turn rely on archery, catapult and dropped objects to deter an assault. In particular, barrels containing rocks frozen in ice are effective in dispersing a mass charge. Attackers must rely on one of 2 tactics: a direct assault on one of the few well-defended gates, or scaling the wall in small groups and attacking a gate from the rear. The gates have been designed with features such as murder holes and limited access that make them difficult to force. In an extreme case, gates can be filled with rock and ice, thus becoming as impervious as any other part of the wall. Scaling the wall involves similar difficulties. Wildlings climb the northern side of the wall with hempen rope, stone hammers, ice axes and spiked boots. A team of determined climbers can reach the top, but only if undetected by defenders, who can easily knock them off with dropped objects or archery. The wall is thought to defend itself, disgorging sheets of its own ice. The Night's Watch raised 19 castles to guard the 100 leagues of the wall, although they never manned more than 17 at one time. Over the last 300 years, as the manpower of the Night Watch has dropped, most of these castles have been abandoned, being referred to as ghost castles. Only 3 currently remain in use, though sometimes a larger force is sent to one of the abandoned castles for a fortnight or a moon's turn. The manned castles are Castle Black, the largest maintained castle, located at the northern end of King's Road and held by nearly 600 brothers. Then there's the Shadow Tower, the westernmost of the occupied castles, garrisoned by 200 men of the Night's Watch. And finally, Eastwatch by the Sea, the port of the Night's Watch, with the smallest garrison, located at the eastern end of the wall. Despite the other 16 castles being unmanned, one abandoned castle in particular that attracts interest is Nightfort, the largest castle on the wall and the oldest, being twice as old as Castle Black. This castle is steeped in dreaded history, where numerous horrific things have occurred. It was where the famed Night's King, not to be confused with the Night King, ruled for 13 years. Its sheer size meant it cost substantial amounts of money to maintain, and with the dwindling numbers of the Night's Watch, was abandoned and replaced by a smaller, more convenient castle known as Deep Lake. The last of the Nightfort brothers were assigned to the newly built Deep Lake when it was completed 8 years after it was first commissioned to be built. As many of us know, the TV show is currently way ahead of the books, and while we're not entirely sure if the books will match the show's plot, it's looking very likely that they will, except for 1 or 2 changes. I think the existence of the wall means it's bound to be really tested, or at least suffer some damage at some point during the future of the novels. To see the Night King bring a portion of the wall down using Viserion was probably the most visually incredible scene of the entire series for me. However, because so little of the Night King is actually mentioned in the books, it still remains unclear as to what will happen after the next novel's release in relation to the wall. I'm really excited to see how the Night's Watch react to the destruction of such an important part of the wall in the coming season 8 of Game of Thrones, and what measures, if any, that will be taken in order to repair it. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your support. Everyone, notifications of uploads are more important than ever, so please, if you haven't already, turn those notifications on to make sure you're notified the moment my video goes live. Making videos is what I love to do, it's my dream and my passion. However, it does cost time and money to produce this content, so if you have $1 to spare to support me on Patreon in exchange for some exclusive unseen content, then you can click the Patreon link below or at the end of this video. Please only support me if you can afford it. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at InstaDeanJ and on Twitter at PotterFolklore. Check out my other videos appearing on screen, and please make sure, most importantly, to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again everyone, and please have a great day.